Hello everyone, Spiral Master is back. I'm here upon Skolix Wong's request on YouTube. He asked me to go ahead and continue on the tutorial about how to tier up as the human, and so I'm going to be doing so in this tutorial. So this is Masin version 1.9.3. And I showed you in the previous tutorial how to rank up as the hidden character, the human. And all that entailed was getting your Wisp to level 30, and then you had to collect the human soul. So we're back in game, loading. All of your save files are located in your Warcraft 3 directory under Masin RPG, and they're all text documents. So all you have to do is go inside that text document, and you will be able to load your character that way without having to save a screenshot or anything like some RPGs make you do. Now, I'm level 136, so I can't go into this into the next zone. And it looks like the last thing that I got was the tribal section, so I'm actually going to have to go back through the beginning section so I can get the next level items. Because remember from my last tutorial, in order to continue on upgrading your soul here, you're going to have to get each piece in order for you to continue to upgrade it. So, as the human, the only thing that is required of you to tier up is stat points. So, however you can farm your stat points the fastest, that's how you're going to want to level up as the human. He's got several abilities, most of which do not require you to click on them. He actually only has one click skill. It is a stun, though, so you can use that to your advantage whenever you're trying to kill harder bosses. So keep that in mind whenever you are attempting to fight. Now, his two abilities here, his main ability here, the only click ability he has, is agility and intelligence based. So in order to increase its damage, you're going to have to upgrade either agility or intelligence. And if you notice, it's a little lopsided on the ratios. Agility is only 40 times, whereas intelligence is 130 times. So every 1 point intelligence you get, you're going to get 130 extra damage, whereas if you put in 1 point into agility, you'd only get 40 extra damage on your spell. But agility also increases your damage by 3. So you can look at it both ways. I personally will probably do strength and intelligence for the rest of this, as you will need agility, and I'll explain why here in a second, because whenever you are trying to tier up as the human, it requires 25,000 agility and 25,000 intelligence. So in order to get your rank up, you're going to have to go through that route as well. So one thing, I haven't really been into this zone a whole lot. In the last tutorial, I mainly farmed in the level 50 zone because traveling to this zone just takes a lot of time. It didn't give me a quick route to jump into this section so that I could farm the souls to try and get the human soul. But now that I'm in it, I'll go ahead and this guy right here, he dropped the Tacitus shield right here, and that's 40 armor. So if I take that off, right now I'm at 47% reduction. If I take off the 40 armor that I just got, it's down to 33. So that's 14% damage reduction. He also drops an accessory that gives you life. I think it's 2,000 hit points. So if I were to get 2,000 hit points and add it onto the 12,000, that puts me at 2,000 out of 12,000, which is 1 out of 6, which is roughly 17%, I think. It's close to 17%, 16.5 maybe. Whereas the armor is 14%. So at this juncture in time, getting the health is worth more than getting the armor, but he dropped the armor, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. This guy, he's probably the hardest boss for the starting because of the amount of damage he can do. Now, since I've been farming as the Wisp, I farmed 130 levels, and it took me a really long time to get to the point where I could get into my next stage, which is where I'm at now. So it's pretty easy for me to kill him at the moment. Now, if I was a level 30 Wisp, if I got really lucky and killed both of the Angel and the Demon, and maybe on the first try it gave me a human soul, very unlikely but possible, then I would have a lot more difficulty trying to kill this guy. But since I'm so farmed, since I have a whole bunch of stats, it's pretty easy for me to go ahead and kill him. I didn't get the soul my first try, but it did give me a 300 damage upgrade, 350 damage upgrade. Now, if you also notice, there's this little thing floating around here. This is a flag. It's essentially your 6th item, and there are only 3 types of flags. Unlike some of the other items you can get, there are only 3 types of it. Now, all you have to do is you have to take this item, and you're going to go bring it to this circle, and this guy's going to spawn. Obviously not the easiest to kill, he just one-shotted me, right? So your first flag, I believe you have to have 8,000 stats base. It's either 8,000 or 10,000. I don't really remember which one it is, but you have to have a fairly large quantity of stats before you can actually use a flag. So and plus, it takes a lot of strength to even kill the guy. He's got an ability that will do like 10 million damage or something, so unless you have more than 10 million life or 50% spell damage reduction or something along those lines, it'll be very difficult for you to kill him. So whenever you get to the stage, whenever you're like tier 4 and you want to start getting your flags, the first time I played it, I didn't even know about the flag until I was already a tier 4 character, and it didn't really. It does help. Don't get me wrong. You will need it at some point, but it's not too big of a bonus to where it's a game changer. But it does help you whenever you're farming for stats, and it's just an increase in damage. But you can either get a strength, agility, or an intelligence one. There are only 3 kinds, and as far as I was aware, any character can wear any kind of flag. But again, all it does is gives you a fairly large bonus to that one type of attribute. So if you're an agility hero that doesn't use intelligence for any type of damage, then it would be kind of useless to get an intelligence flag. But if you're, a strength character and you want a little bit of extra damage because you're having to fight things solo, then grabbing the intelligence one or the agility one is not that big of a deal, especially since you will most likely be you'll be upping your strength over another stat point. So having the flag would just increase pretty dramatically how much stats you have very quickly. Alright, looks like I got everything I wanted off of him, so I can go ahead and drop everything. Pick all the other stuff up. Definitely always want to pick those crystals up, and then we can do a create. So that doubled the stats that I had. It gave me quite a bit of armor. Gave me another couple hit points. So that's all good. We're ready to move on to our next area. Before, I know it says awakening skill on the character, level 200. You will most likely not be a level 200 when you get 25,000 to all your stats, so don't. I wouldn't get your hopes up. Getting to level 200 and clicking this skill will do nothing. You have to have your 25,000 to both your agility and your intelligence, and then you have to go through a couple special things before it'll actually help you. So I'm gonna go ahead and trade all my stats in. And I'm gonna go ahead. I probably can't kill that boss, so I'll go ahead and speed through for a little bit until I get to where I can. Well, actually, I'll just continue on. It is pretty normal for this. I'm going to be putting a little bit more intelligence in than I do agility, so I'm using my keyboard to press E and R simultaneously while I also click the R here. So I'm getting, in theory, I'm probably clicking at about the same rate on both my mouse and my keyboard. So I'm getting twice as much intelligence as I do agility, and it looks like it. I got about 100 intelligence and about 60 agility when I did that. And that's just because the more intelligence I put in, the higher damage that spell does. And whenever I'm running in trying to kill big bosses, then that's exactly what I want to do. I just want to run in, use my spell, get out, die, do it again, and repeat that process. Because in this lower level of the game, it doesn't go away. The damage that you deal doesn't go away. Now, if you're fighting some other bosses later on in the game, like this guy here that you have to create, you have to spawn, then that changes a little bit. But bosses like this guy, if you notice, he's got 240,000 hit points. It looks like I've got 370, so let's call it 300 intelligence for now. 300 times 130 gives you 30,000, 39,000 roughly, and then 40 times 800 gives you another 32,000. So I'm only going to be doing about 60,000 damage to him every time I use my skill, but that's okay. I'll probably reiterate a couple things, like this guy right here. I don't know if I tried to kill him. No, I probably didn't, because I was only a wisp. But if you notice, as soon as I walk up, he turns me into something. You cannot use spells and you cannot attack, even though it shows you that you have your damage and everything, but you still can't attack. So when that wears off, you can run over here. Usually I'll get his attention, try and kill as many guys with my spell as possible, deal as much damage as I can before I die. If I do more than half life to him, then I know it's only going to take me 2 tries to kill him. So anyway, he's our next upgrade on our skills, and he's the first boss that actually regenerates quite a bit of hit points per second. So by the time I get back, my ability should be back up, and I'll be able to kill him on this run. And hopefully he'll drop me his soul. Really, if he drops his soul, I'm probably not going to stay there, only because I think I'm good enough in the game to continue on playing without upgrading all of my pieces of items in my inventory, and I think I'll be fine killing other people, other bosses, and getting their items without doing so. I'm primarily looking for how many stats can I farm per second, and he gave me 3 things, which is great. It's definitely a big help whenever they drop more than one item on the ground. But the main thing is that it got my soul. And that, again, doubled my damage again, or doubled my stat value bonuses again. And this spell is anytime my basic attack, excuse me, anytime my basic attack, it does strength, agility, and intelligence damage to that unit. So I know I'm getting, anytime that I upgrade my soul, I'm just increasing the amount of damage that I can do every hit. So I'm probably going to be in here, honestly, until about level 400. I know that seems like a crazy amount, and really it is for how little XP these guys are giving me, but as soon as you get up to this section over here, that XP amount increases dramatically. And these guys, this one says Devil Triad 2 on my screen. If you have a different version of the map, it might do something different. But if you notice, he also dropped an item on the ground. So the 2 is 50 to defense. 50 defense is not going to give me the amount more defense, essentially, right now. So it goes from 60 to 67, so that's only a 7% increase. Whereas 2,000 hit points is 2,000 out of 14,000. is 1/7, which is like 14%. So if I used this one, then it would only be a small increase. Now I can switch these out for just a little bit of extra defense, but you're gonna want all of these. There are 3 main guys that will drop in here. There's Go, which is this guy, 2, which is the guy you just saw me kill, and then lastly there's Hell over here. If you get all 3 items, you can do a dash create just like you do for your soul upgrades. And I'm gonna try and get my spell off without dying to these guys. If I can do, yeah, okay, so that would be great. I'm gonna die as soon as he hits me once, but I got him half-lifed. So if I can get him, then you can do a dash create, and you get a very large increase in hit points, in damage, and in defense. So you definitely, if you can kill those guys, that's what you want to do before you get probably to this guy over here. It's he's a stunner over here, and every time he attacks you, he has like, it's literally like a 40% chance to stun. So it sucks. It's just really, he stuns you all the time. So if there's only one person, if it's just you're trying to do this by yourself, or there's somebody in the game that you're in and he's off doing other high level things and you can't go with him and he doesn't want to spend the time to help you level, whatever your case may be, I would suggest not trying to kill him until you've killed Go, 2, and Hell enough times to get you all 3 pieces. If I get really lucky, it'll drop on his first death over here, and that would be awesome, because that's only going to make everything easier to level. And we're not lucky enough to get it, but that's okay. He still gives me a lot of levels, so I'm getting my stats up. And he drops 24 stat points on the ground, which is a lot higher than anything in this zone. I think you only get 15 stats from this guy. But anyway, I can, if I want to, in between trying to kill this guy and leveling, I could run over to this guy, use my skill once. One thing that you might get a little depressed about is these guys do gain levels whenever you die near them, and that's only going to increase their stats. So be careful whenever you're just running in there. Make sure you're dealing quite a bit of damage, and not just letting them heal all of the damage back and gaining levels on you. They're going to gain life, they're going to gain damage, they're going to gain defense. So try to die the least amount that you can, but also deal as much damage as you can to them. Alright, so I'm just going to continue on. Whenever I'll probably speed through all this until I kill that guy and he drops the last piece of this set here, and I will show you how to create it. I mean, I know you probably already know how to create it if you're getting the souls right, but I'll go ahead and show you a little bit about it and continue on from that point. But until then, everything's going to be just farming, seeing, like I said, you're going to stay in this zone over here probably until about level 400, and then you'll be able to go to the next zone and effectively farm stats. If you go to that other zone earlier, it's just going to make it a longer time for you to farm stats. Since you gain stat points whenever you gain a level, you can gain a lot more levels faster in here than you can in this zone, just because of how easy things are to kill in this area compared to the other zone. So I would suggest staying in here for as long as possible. Alright, I'll speed through all this, and I'll talk to you as soon as I get this guy to drop me the last piece. Alright, that took a lot less time than I thought it would, but as you can see, he dropped that last piece, and the reason why I saved this other piece that you saw me save is just so I can have an additional 40 armor at the point that I have more inventory space for it. whenever you get this combination, it becomes an accessory and not a miscellaneous item. So it may not let me hold that shield, but I believe it does. I think I've done it before. If not, then I can kill this guy again and get either the defense if I kill him, I'll get the damage if I kill him and he drops another piece, or I can get the health if I kill him. So it really just depends on what you want at the point that you've already killed them. But I'm going to do this probably real fast, and I'll show you. I'll read off all the advantages of doing that. So if you look, so it was 2,000 health. It's now 10,000 health. So that did it times 5. It was 50 armor. Now it's 150 armor. And I know I didn't show you the other item, but the last piece, the one that this guy drops over here, is only 500 damage. So it also did times 10 for the damage. So it gives me 5,000 damage, 150 defense, and 10,000 hit points. Which again, huge increase, especially if I'm not going strength. That is like having 500 strength instantly. I don't get the bonus health regen or anything like that. And then finally I can get another 50 defense from him. So I don't need that item anymore. It only gives me 40 defense, so even if I wanted to hold it, it wouldn't be beneficial to me to hold it. So now I'm just going to be focusing on gaining levels and killing bosses and upgrading. If you're in a group, it's a lot easier to kill bosses. Just rotate through your stuns, try and kill him, and then try and get the soul. All you really need is the soul, especially if you're dealing magic damage to everything. And see, yeah, he gained 18 levels from killing me. It didn't give him a huge boost in strength, agility, or intelligence, but it did give him a little bit. So keep in mind, dying to them multiple times is only going to increase their survivability, their damage, and so on. But anyway, so I will go probably all the way until I kill this guy, talk a little bit about some of the things that he drops, and what you should look like before you even try to get to this next section over here, which is the level 200 section. But your order of boss killing goes from the tribal to the Arthas, which was him, you saw me do that, and then from Arthas to Zeph right here, and then from Zeph to him, from him to Monarch here, and then from Monarch you will go into the level 200 zone. There is a specific person you're going to have to kill to get to the level 200 zone. I'll go ahead and cover that whenever I get there. If you decided to go an angel or a devil, as soon as you hit level 200, you're ready to tier up. And all you have to do is go inside this awakening zone right here. And what that does is it brings you to this guy. And just a second, I'm going to go ahead and do a whole bunch of damage to him and die really quick. That way I can use my time a little bit. So I know I'm going to die to him. I know I probably won't kill him. But anyway, you go into here, and he has a very large damaging skill like mine. No, he's done me too many times. Anyway, but it does like 2 million damage. So obviously at level 205, you're not going to be able to withstand that 2 million damage. So I wouldn't even try. Don't even worry about it. What you do is you're going to jump into this zone. You're going to run up, hit him a couple times. As soon as he stops moving, run out. You have to be pretty much out of this square before it won't kill you. So you run up there, hit him a couple times. You have about 4 seconds, I think it is, about 4 seconds before the time bomb, whatever you want to call it, goes off and instantly kills you. So if you hit him, as soon as you start hitting him, run out. That gives you your 4 seconds to escape. Or if you want to effectively use your time while you're in there, you run up to him, attack him for 3 seconds, use a stun. That's going to reset his cast time on that ability. So you could then use the other 4 seconds to run out, or you could use just full on assault the guy, deal as much damage as you can for as long as you can, and then whenever he stuns you, you die, and you just go back through and do that again. Either way is pretty good. I personally will probably try and time everything. I'll run in there, use attack him for a little bit, use my stun, and then run out afterwards, trying to do all of that good stuff at the same time. It can be quite difficult. Don't get discouraged. He doesn't lose a whole lot of hit points, or he doesn't regain a whole lot of hit points whenever you run away and then come back to him. So you can do that. But as far as killing him, they're all going to he's going to drop a spirit, essentially. There are 7 types for the 7 deadly sins. You can do any of the 7 with either the angel or the devil. It doesn't matter. The only thing that an angel or the devil do is allow you to pick a specific hidden character. If you decide to do the hidden characters, it's all about stat farming. I think the human has, it requires 50,000 total stats in agility and intelligence, which is what I'm doing, which is what I'm showing you how to do. Whereas the angel and the devil, I believe the angel is 70,000 to all stats, and the devil, I think, is 100,000 to all stats. Something like that. It's a very large number, so don't be discouraged. It's going to take you a bit to farm that many stats, especially because you'll only be able to get up to about this guy. You'll make it all the way to level 2,000, unless you have somebody helping you. So just gain your levels. Level gaining is the most intensive stat farming you can do. If you notice, I'll gain a level. That gives me 6 stats right now. From level 0 to level 200, it's going to give you 3 stats per level. From level 200 to level, I think it's 1000, it gives you 6. And then from 1000 to 2000, I believe it gives you 12 every time you gain a level. So on top of your base stats that you get, which is like 3, 3, and 6. So 3 for strength, 3 for intelligence, and then 6 for agility. Or maybe it's just 3, 3, and 3 at this tier. Depending on your tier, it's going to increase those numbers. Anyway, so I'm going to put this on fast mode until I get to the next zone, which is probably going to be around level 4 or 500. And then I'll continue talking about the next zone. Alright? I'll see you guys here in a little bit. Alright guys, I'm back. Looks like I'm just about to hit level 400 and I've got 500 extra stats. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put all 500 of these stats in. I'm going to cross the bridge of the level 200 zone because I think I'm strong enough to go ahead and do that. The only reason why I wanted to be decently strong is because the bridge keeper has a ton of hit points, and if I didn't have a fairly large number of intelligence, then it would be difficult for me to kill him very quickly. So every 1,000 intelligence that I get, it increases my spell's damage by 130,000. And the guy that is guarding the bridge has 3 million hit points. So as of right now, I already have to use my spell, what is that, 20 times before he'll die. If it only did 130,000 damage. But since I've got several thousand intelligence now, almost up to 3,000, it shouldn't take me too long. So that did, it looks like 260,000 damage. So it would take it looks like 10 spell hits to destroy this guy. But since I have agility and since my attack damage and stuff is based off of agility and intelligence, each hit I'm doing an extra 5,000 damage. So it shouldn't take me too long to kill him. I could have done it a lot earlier, but again, there's not really a point to go into this zone until you have a fairly large number of stats. This guy has 2 million hit points, so no matter what I try and kill in here, this guy has 4.5 million, and he's our next boss that we want to try and kill. So unless I have a fairly large number of stats, I'm not going to want to jump up to the next zone unless I'm in a group and everybody's already got there. This is the main thing to get when you're in the lower levels. Don't ever leave the lower levels without getting it. It's just not worth it. So don't forget to get that before you leave. As soon as I kill this guy, I'll probably end this part of the tutorial here, and then I'll make another tutorial about the dangers of this zone, getting all the way from level 400 to the level 700 zone, which is this section over here. But anyway, this guy's just about to die. I'll go ahead and stay on here until he dies. Probably have to use my skill one more time. And he will, maybe two. It's only down to 1 million. But it's going to do 260,000 damage to him. And that's pretty good for being 83% damage reduction. I believe all spells are reduced by 50%. No matter what. So, anyway. He's going to die here pretty soon. He doesn't do a whole lot of damage. I mean, I'm only taking about 150, no, it looks like exactly 200 damage from him every time he hits me. Which is right, 80% reduction on 1,000 damage is 200, so. He's just about to die, and I'll go ahead and close this tutorial out. It's quite a lengthy tutorial, even though I know I'm going to speed through a lot of the stuff. It'll still probably be about a 30-minute thing. But I've gotten you to level 400. I'll go ahead and get you from level 400 to the next tier, and then show you how to tier up consequently during this next tutorial. So just hit 400, made it to this next zone. I know I can make it to here. At this point, I would probably save. And again, it's going to be in my text files in my Warcraft 3 folder, so I won't have to do a screenshot. I'll go ahead and show you. I don't do a whole lot of damage to these guys, but I can kill them. So if you see that did 560,000 damage. So I do twice as much damage to this guy than I did to the gatekeeper over here. And he will actually give me stats. I think he gives me either 5 or 6 plus 12. So it's between 58 or 48 and 60 stats every time I kill him. Now it doesn't reset my spawn point, so if you die out here, it's just going to put you back to the very beginning like it always does. So anywhere you die in the game, it's going to put you back to that starting zone. So just because you make it to a new zone doesn't mean you're going to be able to stay there. And it'll take me time to run back. So I'm actually going to go back and heal. The fountains are pretty good in this RPG. Don't be afraid to use them. It doesn't take you much time. I think it's percent health and not a number value. So you'll be up to 100% fairly quickly. And really, I could just run in splats. Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it gives me 48 stats every time I kill that guy. And it looks like it takes me 2 splats to kill him. I call them splats. But this is the next boss we're going to be killing. And I'll go ahead and jump out of here. And you can check out part 2 of my tiering up in Masin RPG version 1.9.3. I'll see you guys then.